Do you ever hear somebody say, oh, this is a knockoff of that? Well, I do want to say that when people use that phrase, it came from the 1998 Jean-Claude Van Damme film called Knockoff. So Knockoff was a Jean-Claude Van Damme vehicle, as I just said, directed by Ringo Lam, and it co-stars Rob Schneider with no Adam Sandler involvement. That's wild. Paul Sorvino, Layla Roshan, and a few others. And this didn't really receive good reviews when it came out, but it was, I want to say it was the third Jean-Claude Van Damme movie I'd ever seen. And yeah, the movie came out when, I first saw the movie when I was about 10 or 11. And, those were the days when I was very big into sports, big into martial arts stuff. So, of course, I really liked some of the action scenes. And Jean-Claude Van Damme, aside from Bruce Lee, was one of my very, very favorites. So, when I saw the movie, and I saw that the storylines, it didn't really make a whole lot of sense. At the time, I thought that it was just so simply over my head, because I was about 11 years old. I didn't, I probably wouldn't have been able to understand Inception if I saw it when I was 11 years old, right? But, after some time, I finally have come to the conclusion, after seeing some other legit film critics that actually have won numerous awards, that it's not just me. Knockoff, there are some parts that actually don't make a whole lot of sense. So yeah, but it kind of does have an interesting storyline to it. Jean-Claude Van Damme and Rob Schneider, they play these two business partners who are fashion designers in Hong Kong. And they find out that their most recent shipment of jeans are bogus. They can rip very, very easily. And then they find out a little bit later on that there's this other shipment of things heading overseas with micro bombs in them. So micro bombs in toys for kids, in microwaves, anything. And yeah, they realize that there's some ties with the Chinese mafia, some ties with the Russian mafia, and yeah, that whole concept really doesn't sound too bad, right? Because who's working for whom, and all these different mob triads, and some of the who's who. It does sound good written on paper, but when the movie actually executes itself, and we learn more about who some of these characters are and what their motives are, and some of the things, they don't really seem very warranted in terms of okay, why isn't so yeah, there's a lot of that happening. And also Ringo Lam's directing of this. Okay, here's my thoughts on Ringo Lam, okay? I think that Ringo Lam isn't a very bad director, but what he tries to do in Knockoff, it's a little bit more than he can chew. Some of the weird angles and the weird places that he will put cameras, and some of the weird slow motion things, it seemed like he was doing all that stuff just for the heck of it, a bit of an exercise sort, but it didn't really seem to serve the narrative what all the other greats do when they do weird angles and stuff. With Ringo Lam, because it seemed so, hey, let's do it like this just because. It didn't really look good. It didn't feel good watching it. But, you know, because I do have some personal nostalgia for this, it was probably the film that really got me into collecting Van Damme films when I was a kid. I don't really think that Knockoff is really a bad film, but it is heavily flawed. And I think that if they were to remake Knockoff, and because you know they could learn from the script, they could learn from their mistakes, and then get like Scott Adkins or somebody, maybe it would turn out to be a little bit better. But this Knockoff from 1998, it's a miss. Not terrible, not a big miss, but it definitely is a miss. So yeah, I'll give Knockoff from 1998 2 stars out of 4.